Okay, so it has been a while and the news has been getting crazier and crazier. This article just came out 2, 3 days ago. Under a new California bill, parents would be charged with child abuse for not affirming transgenderism. And as of yesterday, Senate Judiciary Committee passes the bill to require parents to affirm trans children. So I, I want you to just take that in. You not affirming your child in whatever your child thinks they are or believes they are is now going to be considered a form of child abuse. It goes on to say, if you, the parent, reject your child's chosen gender, you are rejecting that child. Under California's Assembly Bill 957 by Assemblywoman Lori Wilson, I believe that's her, a parent could lose custody for not affirming or agreeing to a child's claims about their gender identity. Lose custody. The bill, co-authorized by Senator Scott Weiner, which is this gentleman right here. You can see him over here as well. And he's his own character. He's got a lot of weird stuff that he does. Would require judges adjudicating such disputes over transgender identifying children to favor the parent who affirms the child's preferred identity. So if me and say my wife were fighting for our child's custody, but I did not affirm my child and she did, she gets it due to this law. Just simply because she affirms it. She could be the worst parent, worse than me, but because she affirms it, she gets the custody. Apparently, Senator Weiner is not satisfied eroding parental rights with his bill to allow children as young as 12 to take the COVID vaccine without parental consent. And that's what this bill was when he passed it. Bill to let 12-year-olds get vaccine without parental consent could be voted on in assembly this week. It goes on to say, and he made another bill, or his bill relaxing the penalties for having non-forcible sodomy, oral copulation, and sexual penetration with a minor. Again, Gavin Newsom signs a bill to protect sex offenders who have homosexual sex with minors. And he was the one who introduced the legislation with another woman. Now, I don't understand how these people are in office when they're allowing these kinds of bills and laws and stuff like that to be passed. He also has his bill to remove felony penalties for knowingly exposing another person to HIV. I know I have HIV. I purposely give it to somebody else, but I don't get a felony penalty for that when I knowingly am doing harm to them. That's crazy. Following viral footage showing children attending a drag show at Mr., a gay bar in Texas in 2022, Senator Weiner proposed on Twitter offering Drag Queen 101 as part of the K-12 curriculum. Attending Drag Queen Storytime will satisfy the requirements. Now, I don't know this guy's personal life. I believe he is part of the LGBT community, but it's very strange how much he's focusing on this kind of stuff around children. It goes on to say, it's really not that funny when you pull all of this damning legislation together to see that Senator Weiner does not believe much in parenting. Clearly not. As California Attorney Laura Powell posted on Twitter, here the bill author defends this bill using an example of a 7-year-old who announces their gender does not match their sex. So this was Congresswoman, this one, Lori Wilson, this lady in the center here. Listen to what she has to say.
So, this particular bill adds the very important factor that affirming a child's gender identity is in their best interest, which is what your question is about. Why does it actually say that in an affirmative way? And it really is because if you have a 7-year-old who's talking about having a potential to say, being able to articulate that they believe that they are not the same gender as they are biologically, then it should be affirmed. And through care, it should be determined. And that's what we did with our own child. And that would give the ability for a parent who wasn't sure to affirm and get their child the care that they need to make that, so they can begin to articulate that determination.
First of all, I don't know what 7-year-old knows sexuality, gender identity, sexual identity, unless they are being taught this by the parents or pushed upon the parents. When you're 7, you're like what, grade 2, maybe grade 3? Why are you thinking about this kind of stuff? And even if that is the case, 7-year-olds still believe in Santa Claus. 7-year-olds aren't allowed to consent to anything on their own, like getting a tattoo, driving, drinking, smoking. Like, if all of a sudden my child says, I'll identify as a, 35-year-old smoker, am I just supposed to affirm that and give them cigarettes now? And like, you'd never be able to go into a doctor's office and tell a doctor, "Hey, listen, I got cancer. I'd like you to operate on my liver to take it out." They wouldn't just affirm you because you say you have something. No, they would do testing. They would prove that that's the case. You can't just be like, "Hey, listen, I don't really need this arm anymore. Can you lop it off?" Like, these aren't things that children understand. And if you're somebody who lives in California, I mean, my best advice would be what this guy says. If you love your child, you need to flee California. This is Senator Wilkes, this guy, I guess. I assume he's probably a Republican because these two people, Lori Wilson, and Scott Weiner, are Democrats, and they're the ones that are pushing this kind of stuff on kids. Again, it's a little weird that this guy was all in the news a few months ago about, potentially having the broomer word thrown at him, which, switch the B with a G, and saying that it was a anti-LGBT hate slur. Yet all of his bills, especially this one, non-forcible sodomy, oral copulation, and sexual penetration with a minor. What else would you kind of put together there? They're not things that children should be able to make decisions of. And parents should not be losing custody over not listening to what their child says when it comes to gender identity or affirming their transgenderism. Makes absolutely no sense. Anyways, love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.